On the 29th of October in Smith's Grove Psychiatric Hospital, infamous serial killer Michael Myers is being prepared for transport. He's been institutionalized for 40 years under the care of Dr. Ranbir Sartain. Sartain has dedicated his life to psychoanalyzing Michael, but his efforts have borne no fruit. Michael has isolated himself since admission and has never uttered a single word. He's being transferred to another facility to live out his days. True crime podcasters Aaron and Dana visit the facility. They hope to secure an interview with Michael and hear him speak before his transfer. Sartain explains that their efforts might be futile, but Aaron is confident. The three find Michael on the playground. Aaron reaches into his bag and retrieves Michael's infamous mask, hoping to prompt a reaction out of the killer. The mere presence of the mask causes the other inmates to tremble in fear, but Michael remains aloof, so the podcasters leave. On the drive to Haddonfield, the podcasters wonder why Michael didn't connect with his mask. The two drive into an isolated compound, gaining access when they promise the owner a hefty sum of money. Laurie Strode invites them into her house but remains wary of their intentions. It has been 40 years since Laurie dealt with Michael, but she still fears what the man might do to her if he ever gets loose. Consequently, she has all sorts of weapons in her house and spends most of her time sharpening her shooting skills with mannequins. She has also fortified her home and added significant effects to give her a better advantage if Michael comes knocking. Laurie has a daughter, but her relationship is strained. Aaron questions Laurie's actions and paranoia, citing her relationship with Karen. Laurie isn't interested in telling the world her greatest fear, so Aaron reveals that the main reason for his visit is that he wants to have Laurie and Michael sit down and face each other since the two are connected. Laurie rudely shows the podcasters the door. Meanwhile, Karen and her husband Ray congratulate their daughter Allison for her success in school and promise to attend her National Honor Society event that evening. Allison asks Karen if she has invited Laurie, and Karen lies. Allison meets up with her best friends Vicky and Dave and vents over the disagreements between Laurie and Karen. She reveals that she had invited Laurie to the party later, knowing that Karen wouldn't. The trio talks a little about the 1978 murders, which now seem folklore. At school, Allison's boyfriend Cameron and his best friend Oscar remind the trio of a Halloween party the next day. Allison reminds Cameron that he is meeting her parents later that evening. Allison is in class when she spots Laurie watching her. She meets her grandmother, who gives her the money she got from the podcasters and encourages her to leave town after she graduates. Allison calls Laurie out for being a lousy parent, but Laurie accepts the criticism, saying all she did was to ensure her daughter was protected from the horrors of the world. Meanwhile, Michael and a few other inmates are loaded up in a truck for transport. Sartain ensures he is part of the transport team. Laurie witnesses the transfer in her car and screams in anguish, recalling all the pain that she had suffered and hoping that Michael's reign of terror is over. After chugging down some mini whiskey bottles, she crashes Allison's party. Here, Allison sees the ugly part of her alcoholic grandmother as she rants on about Michael Myers. Allison consoles Laurie and she leaves, but Karen recounts the horrors of her childhood. Laurie made her train with weapons and crazy cages at a young age. She was so relieved when the CPS took her from Laurie when she was 12. Elsewhere, a father and son are headed out of town for a fishing trip when they come across a bunch of dudes in white. The prison transport van had flipped over, so the father investigates while the son calls the police. The police want more information, so the boy walks towards the overturned van. He stumbles upon a prison guard who warns him to run before dying. The boy accidentally shoots Sartain inside the van and rushes back to their vehicle. Suddenly, he's ambushed by Michael and brutally eliminated. Officer Hawkins arrives on the scene and saves Sartain, who keeps asking whether Michael escaped. News of Michael Myers' escape is broadcast, with people being warned to stay on high alert. Laurie sees the information and goes home to continue practicing her skills. Aaron and Dana visit Michael's sister Judith's grave to recount her death. The graveskeeper notices someone in white watching them but pays little heed. The podcasters stop at a nearby gas station and Dana goes to the bathroom while Aaron approaches the shopkeeper. Upon investigating, he is horrified to see the man dead and realizes that the mechanic is gone too. Suddenly, screams from the bathroom stall confirm that Michael is in the area. Aaron rushes to help Dana but is easily eliminated by Michael, and so is Dana. Laurie, who has a police scanner in her car, hurries to Karen's house. Karen and Ray return home only for Laurie to startle them. Laurie wants Karen to take arms and defend herself, but instead Karen kicks her crazy mother out, promising to cut all ties with her. That evening, Michael, who has retrieved his mask from Aaron's car, walks into a garage and grabs a hammer. He slaughters a woman with it and replaces it with a butcher knife. He enters the neighboring house and eliminates another person, fulfilling his murderous desire. Meanwhile, Vicky is babysitting a young boy called Julian. She calls Allison to keep her company, but the latter is at a Halloween party, so she politely declines. Returning to the party, she spots Cameron making out with another girl. Allison is devastated, but Cameron blames her for being on her phone all night and throws it in a large bowl of dressing. Vicky calls Dave over and the two start fooling around. Their humping session is interrupted by Julian, who says a man is in his closet. Vicky comforts Julian and takes him back to bed, but Julian insists she locks the closet door. She tries to, but finds something jamming it. It turns out that Michael is in the closet and he attacks Vicky. Julian runs out screaming for help while Dave goes to help his girlfriend. Hawkins gets to the scene and enters the house just as Laurie pulls over, having heard the disturbance call on her scanner. She spots Hawkins in one room and Michael in another. She shoots at Michael, but the bullet does not harm, causing Michael to exit the house while Hawkins rushes after him. However, Hawkins momentarily pauses when he comes across Vicky and Dave's corpses, allowing Michael to step out. Laurie sees and shoots him, but the bullet grazes his neck and he flees. Sartain arrives on the scene and fanboys over Laurie's connection with Michael. Meanwhile, Oscar offers to escort Allison home as she breaks up with Cameron. On the walk, Oscar compliments Allison and offers to show her a shortcut, mistaking her kind words as flirtation. He tries to kiss her, but she shoves him away and angrily walks off. Someone appears in the backyard and Oscar starts ranting about his failed love, assuming the intruder to be the homeowner. The intruder uses the motion sensor lights to sneak attack and eliminate Oscar. Allison hears Oscar's screams and she turns back to find him impaled on the fence with Michael standing behind him. Allison lets out a blood-curdling scream and rushes down the street to a neighbor's house for help. Luckily, the neighbor helps and Hawkins and Sartain reach her. Elsewhere, Laurie takes Karen and her husband to her house after numerous efforts to contact Allison. Hawkins confirms he has her and will drive her to the house. On the way, Hawkins comes across Michael and hits him with his car. Michael falls and Sartain approaches him to check if he is alive. After confirming that Michael has passed out, Sartain slices Hawkins' neck and loads Michael into the car. The lunatic reveals to Allison that he had been the one who sabotaged the transport van and allowed Michael's escape. He hopes Michael will speak to him after he delivers him to Laurie. Seeing an opportunity, Allison claims that Michael had talked to her, but she would only reveal the words if Sartain let her go. Sartain stops the car a few meters from Laurie's house. However, Michael wakes up and drags him outside. Sartain asks Michael to speak to him, but Michael squishes his head with his foot. Allison escapes into the woods while Michael eliminates the two officers watching over the house. Ray hears the commotion and goes to investigate. He sees the dead officers but also suffers the same fate when he backs into Michael. Suspecting danger, Laurie instructs Karen to hide in the basement while dealing with Michael. Michael nearly eliminates her, trying to get into the house, but she flees. Michael hides in the mannequin room, ambushing Laurie. He stabs her and throws her body off the ledge. Allison enters the house and calls out for Laurie, distracting Michael and allowing Laurie to escape. Michael finds the secret bunker just as Karen grabs a gun with her initials on it. Karen starts crying for Laurie, claiming she cannot eliminate Michael. Michael appears and Karen shoots him as this is all a ploy to lure him out. Laurie appears too and hits Michael, pushing him into the basement. Karen and Allison exit the basement, but Michael grabs Karen's leg, prompting Allison to slice his hand and set Karen free. Suddenly, Laurie presses a button that locks the basement as she had designed it, not as a safe spot, but as Michael's trap. A gas floods the room, and Laurie drops a burning stick into the basement, starting a fire. Despite the explosions in the basement, Michael remains unresponsive, staring up. The three women hitch a ride with a farmer, riding off into the night. Do leave a comment telling us your favorite part of the movie. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next recap. Until next time, folks, take care and goodbye.